Hello everyone and welcome back to the pond. My name is Frank, aka Bullfrog TCG, and today we have got a heap of cards to talk about. Reveal season is in full swing. We've got a lot of cards that got revealed since last time, both English and some Chinese spoilers as well. So we're going to take a look at those as well. But before we do, if you enjoy these videos and you want to see more from me, then please take the time to like and subscribe and maybe even write a comment. It really helps to support the channel and I would be forever grateful. And the first card I want to look at is a card that got released just after I posted the last one, which is this one. And in yesterday's video, which by the time of making this video is today's video, we played the Rebel Jinx, the Purple Jinx. And this card is insane with that one, because it reads 1 energy, a power and equip to when I conquer, discard 1, then draw 1. So this basically means that the Rebel Jinx is gonna just be self-sufficient. It's gonna conquer and then ready, and then if you have the ganking battlefield, you can go over to the other battlefield, conquer, and then she's gonna ready herself. I mean, this card is just insane in that deck. I don't know if you'd play it in other decks or with other units. Maybe we have some more discard synergies that's gonna make it worth it, but for now I think just putting this on Rebel Jinx is gonna be insane. Okay, I don't really have an order of going through these, so we're just gonna take it from the top. I just wanted to start off with that one. And the first one we're gonna take is the World Atlas. So 3 energy for an equip 1 power. When I hold, play 2 gold gear tokens exhausted, and it gives +2 might. I think this card is very good. It only costs 3 to play out, and it gives +2 might. And I mean, it does cost 1 power to equip, which I mean most equipments do. But the hold, play 2 gold gear tokens exhausted. I think this is going to be really good in Ari. That kind of focuses around the blue Ari build. I think this is going to be insane, because there you usually are going to be able to hold on the first turn, so you play, or the second turn I mean. So you play a unit out, and then the next turn you play this, and then attach it, and then conquer. Just this card alone might make it so that you don't really have to play the seals anymore. So yeah, I mean, Ari is in specific, but I think also just blue decks in general could consider running this, because it is, I mean, if not for the hold, it is also +2 might. So yeah, I think this card is really good. And then we have Premonition. So 2 energy, 3 power, reaction, draw 3. So I mean, this card reads very expensive, but when you take it into the context of this set, which is, I mean, a lot about creating gold tokens that is just free power, I think this card is incredible. I mean, just 2 energy for draw 3 is insane. And I mean, even though it does cost a bunch of power, if you get this late game, like you top deck this late game, just draw 3 for 2 energy is going to be so good. So I mean, all blue decks I think are going to at least consider running this, because this is just, the problem I guess is, because I mean, this kind of contests with Consult the Past, and the good thing about Consult the Past is that you can play it for, I mean, just a power, but that is draw 2, and I think when you're talking about top decking, I think this is way better, because the Consult costs 4 and draws 2, and this costs 2 and draws 3. So yeah, I think this card is incredible, but I mean, you do kind of have to set up around it as well, but if you can get that going, then this card is incredible. Okay, we're moving on to the orange cards here. Buru Captain, so 3 energy, 1 power. When you play me, you may draw 1 or buff me. I mean, I think this card is, I think it's okay. I think what hurts this card the most is the power cost. Because when you play me, you may draw 1 or buff me. I mean, the drawing 1 is nice, of course. And I guess if we get a bunch of gold around this, like in this deck as well, then it might be good. But I think just 3 energy for a 4 might unit is okay. It has some synergy in decks like Lee Sin, for example, might consider running this. So I don't know. I think it's okay, but I think the power cost is what's hurting it. But I mean, I might be completely wrong about this. But for now, I think this is just okay. Okay, and then we have Jawfish, 7 energy, 2 power, 6 might, accelerate, and then 1 I cost 2 less for each of your mighty units. This is a trend I guess we're seeing with this set, is that a lot of the cards have a very high power cost, because even though you get to reduce this by down to 1, it is still going to cost you 3 power, which is a lot. I mean, having an accelerated unit is nice, and having mighty units is pretty easy to do in Valibear, for example. And I mean, the Fiora is, I guess, the card that this is intended to be played in. But I mean, in Fiora, I'm not sure how that's going to work, because her whole thing is making smaller units bigger, and whether you can do that consistently, like permanently, like by using equipment and stuff like that. To actually be able to play this out for like 3 or 1 even. We're gonna have to wait and see. But I don't know, I think for the payoff, getting an accelerated 6 might unit might not be good enough, because it does require quite a bit of setup. Because I mean, for the full price, it's just a worse Master Yi and a worse Lee Sin even. So I don't know, I'm not sure about this one. I think it's a bit expensive maybe, but we'll see. Okay, let's move on to Warmog's armor. So 1 energy, equip, 1 power, and then when I conquer, buff me, and it gives +1 might. I mean, yeah, this gives buffs. I think Lee Sin could like to run this, and also like the new the Jax might like to run this. Just decks and cards that synergizes with buffing. I think this is, I mean, it's a very easy way to get that going. It's very cheap, so yeah, I think this card is pretty good. Yeah, not really more to say about that. Here to help, we talked about that last time. Okay, here we got Yoni, Blade Master. So 5 energy, 1 power, 5 might, Weapon Master. That is, when you play me, you may equip one of your equipments to me for 1 power less, even if it's already attached. And then when I conquer an open battlefield, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit in a base. I think this card is pretty insane. Just cards that can take care of stuff in the base are just like bound to be good. And because like in orange you have cards already that's like challenge and the gentleman's duel, but the problem with those, and the snapvine, but the problem with all of those is that they make it so that the unit you're targeting also deals damage back. So if this targets like a unit and they buff that unit up, then this is just gonna die to its own effect. This doesn't, and when you consider that when you play this out, you can auto equip it right away. And then if you play it, like if you have some way to make it ready as well, for example with a first mate, or if you play Lee Sin with like the Wallop for example, or if you have the Mistfall, like if you can just come out swinging with this right away and people are not going to expect it, then this is going to swing for a lot. So like let's say you have this, and then you have the let's say you have the Trinity Force out, so you get 5 and then +2, 7, and then if you buff it as well, it's going to be an 8. Come in, swing for 8, and then deal 8 to something in the base, which is going to take care of, I mean, a lot of units in the game. The big thing about this is that it does have to conquer an open battlefield, so if the battlefield has units on it, then it's not going to work. But I mean, I guess if you play it in like Lee Sin, you have access to cards like Charm that can just move stuff back. You could also play this in Sivir and Misfortune, because then you also have access to Fight or Flight, where you can just like bounce stuff back. I think this card is really cool. But I mean, I think it's good that it's only if you conquer an open battlefield, because then you can kind of like play around that, and it is a bit more difficult to get off. But yeah, I think this card is really, really cool. Okay, let's move on to Jax. So 4 energy, 1 power, 3 might. For Jax Unrelenting, that is a champion unit. He also has Weapon Master. And then when you attach an equipment to me, you may pay 1 to draw 1. And I mean, Jax is all about like... let's quickly look at Jax. So he's here. So he can exhaust himself to attach equipment you control to a unit you control, or you can pay 1 and attach, I mean, any equipment to a unit you control. So this is really good for like triggering this ability, because it already has Weapon Master. And I mean, I don't know how that works if you can have multiple equipments equipped to one unit. If you can, then that's gonna be like if you have 1 excess energy, you can or like I guess 3 excess energy, you can play this out and then use the Weapon Master to equip an equipment, pay 1 to draw 1, and then you could also use the Legend ability to equip something else and then pay 1 more to draw 1 more. But yeah, I think this card is going to be really, really good, just getting a free draw basically whenever you play it out, or whenever you attach an equipment to him, so you can do this multiple times. So this kind of becomes like a pseudo, not really a pseudo Kiana, but I mean it is in the same slot, it's in the 4-drop slot. But the big problem is that it's only 3 might, so it is very weak. But I mean, the fact that you can equip something right away means that it's probably going to be like maybe 5 when you look at Trinity Force, and maybe even bigger if you look at something else. So yeah, I think this card is really cool. It synergizes really well with the Legend, and yeah, I think this card is cool. Okay, and then we have Cold Shot. So 0 energy, 1 power, action, repeat, and then look at the top 2 cards of your main deck, draw 1 and recycle the other. So this is kind of like a different take on Stack Deck. It's kind of the same effect. So like the Nocturne is just looking better and better because we have more and more cards that look at the top of our deck. Of course, this costs power. It doesn't cost an energy. So, but I mean, again, the power cost, we're creating a lot of gold in this set, so I think this is going to be just a staple in Chaos. Yeah, maybe not on the same level as Stacked Deck, because Stacked Deck is way less painful to play on turn 1. I don't think you really want to play this on turn 1, maybe like later on the later turns. But if you do, then this is going to be really good. But I don't know if it's going to just replace Stacked Deck. I think you might run both, might run one, but I think Stacked Deck for now is a bit better. But I like the flexibility of this, so you can choose to look at the top 2, and you can also look at the top 4 if you want to. So yeah, cool card. Overzealous Fan we looked at, and yeah, we have Treasure Hunter. So 2 energy, 1 might. When I move, play a gold gear token exhausted. Now this card I think is really, really good. This in Yasuo is insane. I mean, you play him out, and then you attack, you get a gold, you move him back with the Yasuo ability, you get another gold. So that is 2 gold on turn 2, and then you can like do a bunch of other stuff. But I mean, just getting those 2 gold early means that your Yasuo is going to be free, your green Yasuo, when you play it out. I think this card is incredible, but I mean, I think it's especially good in Yasuo for now, and I think it's also going to be really good on Aurelia. It is only 1 might, so it's not going to be able to attack into anything. But, you know, if we get a cheap equipment on him, maybe he's going to be able to contest something. But yeah, I think this card is very, very good. Okay, and then we have Honest Broker. So 2 energy, 2 might. Honest Broker, Death Knell. Play a gold gear token exhausted. So this kind of... I think this is probably just going to replace the... no, I mean, it's not going to replace it. It is kind of similar to Soaring Scout. Soaring Scout gives you an energy, and this gives you gold, or a power, essentially. Yeah, so Soaring Scout is a bit better. But again, Soaring Scout is a 1 might, this is a 2 might, so this is also going to be able to trade into something. Whereas Soaring Scout trades into, I mean, very few of the units in the game. This is going to be traded into a bit more than that, but it does get you gold instead of a rune, so that is a bit weaker as well. But yeah, I think this is a solid turn 1 play. Nothing more to say about that. And then we have a BF Sword, which is of course stands for Best Friend Sword. Best Friend Sword. Breast Friend Sword. 4 energy, equip 1 power, and plus 3 might. I mean, yeah, it certainly is big, and I think that's all it is. It is big. I think it is a bit expensive, because I mean, for the same amount of energy and no power, you can also play the Trinity Force, which is gonna have an extra ability where you score an extra point when you hold. This of course gives you plus 1 extra might, but I think you'd rather run this just because that ability is very strong. Getting an extra point is usually a lot better than 1 extra might. So yeah, I think for now, I don't think this is the first equipment you put in the deck, but I mean, maybe it's gonna be better than that. But I mean, because 3 might is a lot, of course, but I think for 4 energy you could be doing a lot more than this. Okay, moving on to Altar of Memories. When a friendly unit dies, you may exhaust me to draw 1, then put a card from your hand on the top or bottom of your main deck. Okay, so this card is very interesting. I think this is a very important card for certain cards or for certain strategies, because you can put a card from your hand on top of your deck, which I don't think we have any other cards that do. So you can, for example, if you draw a Nocturne, you can just put the Nocturne back on top. Of course, now we don't have the Order of Chaos, the yellow-purple color combination, but when that becomes a thing, this is gonna make it really, like, way better to play the Nocturne, because you can just put it back on the top again. Because you do essentially get to see another card every turn, so it is just gonna like suck through your deck more. So I mean, it could probably be very good in Baited Hook, because then you're always gonna like be able to pay 1 to just kill a unit. But maybe we get more synergies for just like killing stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see. But I think if this is not played now, I think there is gonna come a time where this becomes a very important piece in a combo deck. But I'm not sure if that's going to be this set, but maybe it will. Okay, we looked at these. The Danger Zone we looked at. And we have the Illusion signature spell here. Relentless Pursuit. So 2 energy and a power. Action. Move a friendly unit. You may attach an equipment with the same controller to it. This turn, that unit has, when I conquer, you may move me to my base. So this is a bit of a weird text. It basically means that you may attach an equipment with the same controller. So basically an equipment you control. So you can't like attach your opponent's equipment to it, it's just what that means. And I guess it's also, you can't move if you're playing in the 2v2, you can't attach your teammates' equipment to it. So it is only your equipment. But move a friendly unit, you may attach an equipment to it, and then this turn that unit has, when I conquer you may move me to my base. So it's a very interesting card because it's a move card at action speed. So you are going to be able to do like the ride the wind thing where you conquer a base or a battlefield on your opponent's turn. But I think this is just a really strong card in general. It only costs 2 energy and a power, so it is really, really flexible. And it has action speed, so as I said, you can use it on your opponent's turn. And then when I conquer, you may move me to my base. I like that this is a May, so if you want to, you can just stay in, but you can also move it to the base. And that's what that basically is gonna do is on your turn, this is also basically gonna let a unit attack twice. So yeah, I think this is a really, really good card. Like still, I'm not really sure about like what Lucian tries to do. But I think this card is a really, really good reason to play Lucian. Just that by itself. Okay, let's look at a Rek'Sai's signature spell, Void Rush. So 2 energy and a power, same cost as the Lucian one here. Reveal the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may play one of them, reducing its cost by 2, and then draw any you did not play this way. I mean, this is just, I mean, it's basically the same as the Legend ability, just way better. Because this also looks at the top 2 and you can play one of them. But this recycles. This draws the one you don't play. So even if you don't play anything, this is just going to be on 2 energy, 1 power, draw 2. Which is insane. And then also, if you want to play something, it's going to reduce the cost by 2. So this, I mean, for what Rek'Sai does, this is just an insane card. But I'm very interested to see how consistent this is going to be. Because it is like early game, if you can like just miss off the ability and just not find anything because everything is too expensive, for example. So I'm really interested to see how consistent this deck is going to be. But I'm also very excited just to mess around with it because it does look a lot of fun. I mean, I have to say, like, the signature spells in this set so far have all been crazy, like the Danger Zone. I mean, this really depends on what the mech support we get, how good this is going to be. The Spinning Axe is incredible, the Relentless Pursuit, the Defiant Strike is broken as hell. So yeah. And then we also have a new battlefield, so the Treasure Hoard. When you conquer here, you may pay 1 to play Gold Gear Token Exhausted. I mean, yeah, we are all in on the gold this set. This is one of those battlefields that you don't always want to run it because you don't want your opponent to get more value out of this than you do. But it is a very good ability, like just paying 1 to essentially stop you from de-ramping one on a later turn is very good. But I don't know, I think this is a very good battlefield, but it is one you have to be kind of careful when playing, because you could run into the spot where your opponent just creates a bunch of gold and you don't get to create any. So yeah. Okay, and then also we have, we're getting overnumbered seals. And these things are, I mean, I'm just saying it now, I'm gonna collect a set of each of these. Because in my head, these are like, if you're familiar with Magic and the Moxes in Magic, like Mox Opal and Mox Diamond and Pearl and all that, my thinking is that these are going to be like the Moxes of Riftbound, and I really want to get in on that early. So I'm planning to get a set of these. But so basically we get like an overnumbered version of each of the seals from the first set. So we've seen some of them. We see the Seal of Discord, and we should have seen some more of them, but maybe they're not revealed here yet. No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, well, I can see if I find them afterwards. But okay, that is all the English reveals that are in here on the Piltover archive. We are going to jump over to Discord. Let's jump over to the Chinese spoilers, because here we've got a bunch of cards that haven't been revealed in English yet. So let's start off with this one. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. Okay, so Rel. Cool art there. Rel, tank. When I attack, you may play a 2-cost or less equipment from hand, ignore all cost, and put it on me. Yeah, I mean, this is very, very good. Just like anything that plays stuff for free is going to be good. And also, you ignore all cost, including the equip cost. So that is going to be like at least a power you don't have to pay, and also energy, and maybe another power if it costs a power to play out. So yeah, I think this card is very, very good, and I think it is in contention for one of the best like 4-drop unit, like champion units in the game. But I mean, you do have to have a deck with enough equipments in it to make this card consistent. Because without the equipment ability, it's not that good, right? It's just a 4/4 with tank, which, I mean, in that case, you'd much rather just run the Kai'Sa, and I mean, you might still also just run the Kai'Sa, but just this ability even if it's not going to be super relevant now this set, it is one that's going to be very relevant in the future when we get more equipments. But for now, I think this ability is really, really good. Okay, and let's move on to Loyal Hound. It's a very cute little doggo there. Best friend. Loyal Hound. When you defend the battlefield, you may move me there. I think this is a very interesting card. It kind of feels like this the same as the Pakag Cub. Because then you hide it and then you can play it from hidden and it's a 3-might unit. So it kind of feels like that. I guess it is one of those cards where you can kind of play it safe in the base and then when you get attacked you can choose if you want to move it up or not. I think if you can equip this with something, it gets a lot better. Like if this can just sit in your base, equip with something, and then whenever your opponent attacks, they always have to think about, okay, this dog might just jump in and join the battle. And then it's going to be really interesting. But I think for now, I think this card is... I don't know, I'm not really sure what deck wants to play this, but it is a very funny ability, I will say that. Okay, and what do we have here? We have the Rek'Sai champion, so we have both the regular art and the alt art. But okay, it is a Rek'Sai. When I attack, you may choose to reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. You may choose one to play it and recycle the rest. If you play a card this way, you may choose to play it here. So again, like Rek'Sai is all about looking at the top of your deck. So we saw the Altar of Memories here. This is going to synergize really well with the Rek'Sai. But I'm also very interested to see because it does require you kill a friendly unit. So I wonder how easy that is going to be with the tools we get from the Rek'Sai in like Spirit Forged. Because of course you do have the baited hook route and you can play that. So maybe that is what like the plan is, to play baited hook in this. But yeah, I mean this ability is really good, just again playing cards for free. You get to look at the top 2 cards, so I mean, it must be annoying to be a Nocturne player because Nocturne would have loved to be in these colors now because of all of these like look at the top deck cards. But I think also the good thing is that if you play a card this way, you may choose to play it here, attacking in with you, so it kind of becomes like a combat trick, a free combat trick. So yeah, I mean this along with the signature spell and the legend. It's really going to depend on how consistent we can make these abilities. Because, I mean, we have a lot of them. And that seems like that is what the deck is trying to do. Obviously. But it is going to be interesting to see how consistent we can make this. But okay, let's move on to... We have a Fiora here. Fiora regular and the alt art. You know, I actually like the regular version better. I think this variant looks just cooler. Not really a fan of the Queen Fiora here. But okay, each to their own, I guess. But okay, when one of your unit gains Mighty, you may pay 1 power to ready them. So this is kind of like a Mistfall for Mighty units. The big problem, of course, is that it's 3 might. So it dies very easily to, I mean, Falling Star, of course. And that, I mean, I don't really see the Falling Star going away next set. So it is going to be very vulnerable to that. But this also synergizes. I think you can use this ability on herself as well. So when you play this out, if you manage to make her mighty, you can pay a power to ready her, which is good. So she can have pseudo accelerate if that's how it works. I think that's how it works. But I don't know. I mean, we also have another yellow Fiora, which is the well, I mean, yeah, the Fiora we have that gains all the keywords when it's mighty. So I don't know if you want to play this over it. I mean, the big plus about this is that it doesn't cut the power. So it's really easy to play. You can just play this out on turn 1, for example. Whoops. So but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's... I mean, the ability is very good. But the fact that it is a unit and it's so fragile is definitely a minus. But we'll see. Maybe it's turned out to be better than I think. But for now, I think it's just okay. Okay, and we are moving on to Whispering Wing. Hidden. When you play me, return another 3 might or less character from battlefield to hand. So yeah, I mean this is... Wait, what? Oh, it's a unit. Oh, never mind. In my head, I thought it was a spell. Yeah, I mean, this is just a unit with a stack deck on it. No, stack deck with a gust on it. Yeah, I think this card is very good. The fact that you can play it for free. I mean, free stuff is always good. Yeah, I think Timo's gonna love this. And also you can play this in other decks, which I think is also gonna be good. Because just getting an extra unit means that it's gonna be... I mean, all the hidden cards are really good against like decks like Kaisa that tends to remove 1 unit at a time. So that is going to be really annoying for them to kind of remove your whole battlefield. It is only 1 might, so that extra unit is usually not going to matter that much. But just having more gusts I think it's going to be very good. And I think the big thing is that this is reaction as well. Well, while hidden. Okay, let's move on to the next card here. That looks like a signature spell. Okay, so Riposte. So this is Fiora's signature spell. Reaction. Choose a friendly unit and spell. Counter that spell, and that friendly unit gains might equal to the spells cast this turn. I mean, yeah, I think the important part about this card is counter that spell. Counter that spell. This counters any spell in Fiora. The signature spell that is a counter spell, so it's basically a signature wind wall with upside, because it also buffs the unit. Yeah, I mean, I think this card is incredible. Because, I mean, these colors don't have access to counter spells at all. I mean, the only color that has counters to counter spell prior to this, or counter spells prior to this, is green. And now we have another color combination that we have to be like, where we have to be wary of just getting stuff countered. I mean, it is only a signature spell, so it is only going to be relevant in Fiora, but in Fiora I think this card is insane. It's so good, yeah. And I mean, if let's say you counter a Time Warp, then it can just give a unit plus 10 might, which is kind of insane. It does cost a power, but I mean, or 2 power, but I mean, again, we're creating a lot of gold and we have a lot of ways to mitigate power loss, so yeah, this is an incredible card. It is definitely a good reason to want to play Fiora, because for now I think Fiora looks just okay, but this is a very good reason to play her. Okay, let's move on to Piercing Light, I think was the card name here. Yes, so Piercing Light, spell repeat 2 and a power, cast 2 and a power, and then deal 2 damage to a unit at a battlefield, then deal 2 damage to up to 1 other unit. So yeah, so this is a 2 energy, it's basically a weaker Falling Star. It's because the first 2 damage deals to a battlefield, and then the other 2 can deal anywhere, and then you can do that again. So for 4 energy and 2 power, you could deal 2 damage 4 times. So 2 damage 2 times the battlefields, and then 2 damage 2 times anywhere. Yeah, I think this card is really good. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be very good in Annie. I think Annie's gonna love to have this card, as if the Incinerate wasn't power crept enough. The 2 energy deal 2 damage from the Proving Ground set, the Annie spell. This just blows that out of the water. Yeah, I think this is a really solid spell in red. It's really good to just take care of your opponent's early aggression. It's also good, like, it could be good late game. The thing though is it does have the same clause as Singularity, where you can't target the same unit twice, which is a very big minus, it is to be said. So you can't like stack this and deal 4 damage to 1 unit, you have to deal 2 split. But then the plus, of course, is that it does have repeat, so you can do it again. But I think, for what it's worth, I think this card is gonna see play. I think it's really good. But it also doesn't, it's not as broken as Falling Star, because it can't be like combined to 1 unit. If it could, then it would be insane. Okay, so we are looking at a signature spell here, it looks like. Yes, Sivir's signature spell, the Hunt. Yeah, I mean, I don't speak Chinese, so I can't tell you what all this says. But the Hunt signature spell Sivir, ready all your units. I can't really see a world where this is not broken, where this is not insane. Like, one thing I see you can do with this is if you're on the ganking battlefield, or if you have the Windswept Hillock, you can attack that battlefield with all of your units, and then you can use this to ready everything, and then attack with everything to the other battlefield. And yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of synergies with this card. I think it's going to be interesting to see what people do with this. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just, it costs 1 power, no, 1 energy. It can't be defied. It can be friggin' reposted, but it can't be defied. And for 1 energy, that is potentially a lot of power coming at your face. So yeah, I love this card. Man, the signature spells in Spiritforge are just out of this world. But okay, let's take a look at a Draven here. I think, okay, jump to the top. A lot of people have been discussing this one. Yeah, Draven, handsome devil. Draven, deflect. When I win a combat the first time each round, gain 1 point. When I die in combat, choose an opponent to gain a point. I mean, a couple weeks ago I made the Big Boy Yasuo deck, which has like all the big like units you want to move with Yasuo. This is gonna slide perfectly into that deck. Because, I mean, this with the Ride the Wind is potentially gonna be 4 points in 1 turn. No, okay, so it's only the first time each round. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. But I mean, that basically means that you could always win from 7 points by just conquering one battlefield with this card. So I think this card is going to be very, very good in Yasuo. I mean, of course it's going to be good in like any deck, but I really want to play this in Yasuo as well. We're looking at like the older synergies, but like, yeah, this is just a really solid card. It has the deflect, which is going to make it a bit harder for your opponent to deal with. But of course it does have the downside of when it dies you have to give your opponent a point, so it can backfire as well. But if you can reliably like protect this, then this is just going to be a very good card, I think. Alright, moving on to a Bellow Breath. Let's move to the top here as well. Bellow Breath, so spell, action, repeat, 1 on a power, deal 1 damage to up to 3 units at the same location. Okay, so this is what I wanted for the Ezreal, because Ezreal wants to deal damage twice, or to target stuff twice, and this for 1 energy targets stuff thrice, so that's even better. It only does deal 1 damage, which is important. So you can't stack this as well, like you can't do the Falling Star thing. But I mean, it does turn on the Ezreal ability by itself. It does have repeat, so you can do the same thing again, so you can potentially deal 2 damage to 3 units for 2 energy and 2 power, which is really powerful. Yeah, I mean, I like this card. I like it a lot. It's going to be really good with Void Gate. It's also going to be really good with Red Annie if you want to play that. And also I just realized that if you're playing against like a Victor deck or a deck that runs the Grand Stratagem, like a token deck, you can just use this to just kill 3 other units before they can ever play the Grand Stratagem, or even kill 6 units if they're not on the War Camp battlefield, or if they're just 1 might. Yeah, this is going to be used to very easily counter that deck. But yeah, really fun card, really good card as well. Okay, Switcheroo. Now this card is busted. Okay, so spell, hidden, Switcheroo. Action, swap a unit's might with another unit's might on the same battlefield. So this basically says that Mundo is not a threat anymore. This says that anything, I mean the Deadloom Predator, anything big that Aurora plays out, this is just for 2 energy and 2 power, or potentially 1 power for free, can just swap those mights. This basically reads win the current combat if it's like a 1v1. This negates the Mundo, it negates the Watcher, Thousand Nail Watcher. Yeah, this card is incredible. Okay, we've got a few more cards here. Let's start off with Azir's signature spell. So for each equipment you control, put a 2 might Sand Soldier into play and ready 2 Sand Soldiers. So this is one of the cards that requires a bit of setup, because you do have to have enough equipment to kind of make that 6 energy and a power field worth it. If you can set it up, it's going to be insane, because remember, those Sand Soldiers have Weapon Master, so they're going to be able to equip that equipment for 1 less when they're played out. So the 2 Sand Soldiers you like ready, you can just equip those with the best equipments, and then it can go swinging right away. So yeah, I think this card is going to be really good. It is a slow spell, so you could only do it on your own turn. But I mean, I think this is one of those cards, like we're like 1 card away from making this card absolutely busted. That like a card that might come out in the set. I think the ability itself is good if you can prepare enough for it. Like if you can play this and create like 10 Sand Soldier tokens, it's just gonna be insane. That is 20 might divided among 10 bodies, and then 2 of them can attack right away with 2 equipments attached, or an equipment attached to each. Yeah, I think this card is insane. So I mean, now definitely, like, I think this is gonna be the set where the Thermal Beam is gonna be playable. Now people have played it because they kind of have to in certain color combinations, because like blue and red doesn't really have gear removal outside of that. But now we're gonna love to run that, because against Azir, if Azir becomes like a meta deck that just like spews out a bunch of equipment and then plays this, then yeah, I think the Thermal Beam is gonna be very, very good. So yeah, I like this card as well. Again, the signature spells this game. What the heck is going on? Alright, we are moving on to Strike Down. Strike Down spell. Choose a friendly equipped unit and deal damage equal to its might to another opposing unit. Then unequip the equipment on chosen character. This again is like one of those, it's kind of like a buff for body in general, because again, between Snapvine and Challenge and Gentleman's Duel, all of those abilities deal the damage back. This again, like the same as the Yoni, only the unit that this is attached to deals damage, or that this is used on deal damage, so you don't risk like just losing to a smokescreen, for example. It does unequip it, but I mean I don't think that really matters, because I don't really know why that's important, because I mean you're definitely playing this in Jax, and in Jax you can just pay an energy and then re-equip it. So I mean, yeah, I mean I guess it is a bit of a setback because you do have to re-equip it, so you have to pay an extra cost there. But the thing is that this is a slow spell, so you can't even use that on your opponent's turn. So it's not like you're going to lose like an equipment on your opponent's turn or in a combat, for example. So yeah, but I think this is going to be really good. Is it better than Challenge? Maybe not, because this does require a setup, because you do have to use it on an equipped unit. So you can't just play it in every deck. But in the decks that does like the whole equipment synergy, I think this is going to be a really good inclusion. A really good way to just take care of your opponent's stuff. And the big thing is that it deals damage to anywhere, so you can target stuff in the base as well. And then, like, because the way I'm not sure if you can equip stuff to, like, if you have one unit that has something equipped to it, if you can just equip that to something else. I'm not sure. If you can, then I mean it's just as good as I talked about. If you can't, and you have to like get stuff unequipped before you can equip it to the next thing, then this ability all of a sudden becomes better, because then you can essentially just equip that thing to something else if you want to, or you can just re-equip it to the same unit. But yeah, for what it's worth, I think this is a really good spell to have in the decks that rely around equipment or rely on playing out equipments. But outside of that, you can't really play it because it's not going to do anything. But in those decks, I think this is a really solid card. Okay, we are looking at the Renata Glass signature spell here. So, Hostile Takeover. Hidden. 1 power. Gain control of an opposing unit and ready it. If there are other opposing units, enter Showdown. Otherwise, conquer the battlefield. At the end of the turn, lose control of the unit, then recall it to the owner's base. So, this is very expensive when it's not hidden. It does cost 5 energy and a power. So this might be, I'm thinking, like, can you play this with Ava Achiever? Is Ava Achiever going to be able to play out a 5 energy 2 power card for free? Because this is not a Glask, and I mean you can potentially play Ava Achiever in there. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. It's probably not going to be, but it is a thing you can do. Let's look at the Ava for a quick second here, just to refresh our minds, or refresh my mind at least. Okay, let's just search for Ava. When I attack, you may pay 1 power to play a card with hidden from your hand here, ignoring its cost. Yeah, that is just gonna do that, and it's on attack, so it's not on a conquer. So you can attack into anything, and then say if they had a massive Mundo there, you can just play the Hostile Takeover for free, take over the Mundo, and then wait. Oh my god, I think this is even better. So gain control of an opposing unit and ready it. If there are other opposing units, enter Showdown. Otherwise, conquer the battlefield. So basically, if your opponent attacks with 1 unit, and you use this, you take control of that unit, and then you conquer the battlefield, so you get a point for that battlefield. Oh my god, that's even better. I mean, of course, it's you kind of have to like think about how you do this, because you are going to lose control of that unit at the end of the battle. But the thing is, you can play this on your own turn and then use Baited Hook to just kill the unit to take control over, which is very sweet. Yeah, I mean, I think this card is a very good card. Thank God it's a signature spell, because this in Teemo would be disgusting. But yeah, I really want to try out the Ava Achiever line here to kind of Ava for game, because she hasn't really seen any play, because she is a bit expensive. But if this is the caliber of hidden cards we're getting now, then maybe this is the time to try her out. But okay, let's move on. So, Boots of Swiftness. We have to finish quickly here because I spent a lot of time. So, gear equip, I have ganking, I gain ganking, and then +2 might. Yeah, I think this is a solid equipment. Cost 3, so it is a bit expensive, but just giving anything ganking is going to be very good in... I mean, it's not really going to do anything in Misfortune, because Misfortune gives units ganking after all. It's going to be really good in Yasuo, because that means that every unit is going to work with the Ride the Wind. the same way as Kane does, or the same way as Vi does in red decks. Yeah, I think this card is solid. Moving on to last right. Gear equip power, recycle 2 cards from discard. Okay, so it costs a recycle to equip as well. When I conquer or hold, I may play a unit from discard without paying anything. No wait, you still have to pay for the card though. Oh yeah, it doesn't say for free, of course, yeah. So you still have to, you can't just pay it for free, play it for free, that would be insane. But you can play it from a discard, which is really nice because that means that you're, like this basically makes it so that your trash becomes an extension of your hand. So if you can just keep conquering and holding with this, you're going to be able to just play stuff off from a trash, maintaining your cards in hand. I think it's good. It does require a lot of setup, and you do have to recycle 2 from the discard every time you equip it. So if you have to like keep equipping this, then it's not going to be as good. But I think this is a very interesting card, just for the fact that it extends your hand to the trash is very valuable. So yeah, I think this card is, I think it's fair, but I also think it's very good. Okay, we have 2 last cards here. So the first one is the Ezreal signature spell, Arcane Shift. Action, banish a friendly unit, then its controller plays it for free. Ignore all cost. Deal 3 damage to an opposing unit in a battlefield, and then banish this card. I mean, I tried so hard to make a deck around the Portal Rescue, banish a friendly unit and play it to base, ignoring its cost. This is just a better version of that. Because this plays it for free, ignores its cost, and it can play it anywhere. And it also deals 3 damage to an opposing unit at a battlefield, which, I mean, I don't know why it does this. Like, for people who play League of Legends, I think this is gonna make sense. But for me, it just seems like a very weird addition to this card. But with this, it makes me think that maybe like this is also gonna be playable. Maybe you play this and this in the same deck to just keep bouncing and playing your Watchers and your Mind Splitters. That is kind of what I tried to do, but I couldn't really get there. The deck ended up being very bad. So that deck might come in the form of an Ezreal deck, because I did try to do that in Teemo. But yeah, I think this card looks very sick. It's a very cool ability. And the fact that you can play it anywhere, well, I mean, you can play it to the battlefield and the base, means that like if your opponent attacks into your Watcher and something else, you can just use this, banish the Watcher, play it back again, and then give everything -3 to get the outplay, and then it's still defending. Then also, I just thought this also basically negates all of your opponent's like minus might effect. So if they use like 2 smoke screens, for example, you can just use this, and then that smoke screen minus might is just gonna disappear. So yeah, again, solid signature spell. Okay, final card. Counter-Strike, signature spell, Jax. Reaction, choose a unit, prevent the next damage that unit takes this turn, and then draw a card. It is important to note here that this doesn't work with cards like, against cards like Falling Star, because it only prevents 1 instance of damage, and Falling Star deals damage twice. But it is basically a 2 energy, 1 power, you can't win this battle, you can't win this conquer, which is very, very good. Because like all units attack at the same time, and they have like a collective might. So however many units you attack with, that one initial strike is just gonna get nullified. And it has reaction, so you can potentially play it against like for example, if your opponent plays Singularity, you can stop that damage. I wish this card wasn't a signature spell, just because I really love green. But I mean, again, I think it's very good that it is. But yeah, I think this card is going to be really solid in Jax. It basically, again, like I said, it makes it so that you can't lose a battle when you're holding. It also protects you against certain damage spells. It can protect you against like an untapped power. It's going to protect against that. Yeah, and the big thing is also it replaces itself. It just draws a card. So you don't actually lose any hand advantage by playing this. So yeah, I think this is a really, really solid card. Whew. Okay. We made it. We went through all the reveals that are currently revealed. And I mean, by the time I post this video, probably a bunch more reveals are going to be up, but we'll have to do those next time. Okay, I'm not going to drag this video on any longer. Thank you if you followed me so far. I can't believe it. I've been recording for almost an hour. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, take care and bye-bye.